Hi friends, today I wanted to talk about sorting. So in this book it talks about shapes and there's an assortment of different shapes. So sorting means that you group things into a pile. So if I have maybe some buttons, if I have round buttons, circle buttons, I would put those in a pile, and maybe I would put square buttons in a pile and rectangle buttons in a pile. Or you can have colors. Maybe I want to sort some books. Maybe I have red books or blue books or green books. So sorting is putting things that are alike in groups. So in this book it talks about shapes. It's called Shapes by Tana Hoban. She's the author. So she wrote the story. But if you see on the front cover, we see some triangles, I see some squares, and if you see on the boy's shoe, there's a whole bunch of squares. So those are sorted by shapes. Here's a whole bunch of shapes. And then here's a whole bunch of shapes that we can look for. I see rectangles, maybe some stars. So on this page, I see triangles for the sail of the boat. And I see a little star at the top. Over here, I see some circle shapes. The pots have a circle shape. I see a couple rectangles. There's a rectangle, and this kind of looks like a rectangle. And I see some ovals. So that's a whole bunch of shapes. Over here on the fire truck, I see some rectangles, I see some squares, the windows, there's the long shape of the window is a rectangle, but if see the middle line, it could be two squares too. So I see rectangles, squares, and right here on the fire truck's ladder I see some triangles, even though it's a little bit tricky. So there's a whole bunch of shapes over there. I see some more rectangles. I see rectangles on the fence, on the steps. I see a square up here. So there's all kinds of shapes. I see circles for the tires and the wheels. So over here we have some more triangles. A triangle has three sides, okay? But they can be it could be a big triangle, a baby triangle up here, but a triangle has three sides. 1, 2, 3. And here's a circle over here. A whole bunch of circles. Over here we have some squares. Squares have 4 sides that are all the same. But then if you look over here, there's some rectangles in the brick. They have one long side, and a short side and a short side. So 2 long sides and 2 short sides are rectangles. Here's some squares in the hopscotch. Ooh, we have some baskets over here. I see some circles. I see some tiny squares. It's kind of hard to see them, but I see a whole bunch of squares and circles. And over here I see boxes. And I see long rectangle boxes with 2 long sides and 2 short sides. And I also see some square boxes. Over here I see some triangles on the electric poles. And I see, we'll just say the triangles on this one. Ooh, over here. It's really tiny and it's hard to see it, but down here on this wall, it's made up of a whole bunch of little squares. It's kind of tricky to see it. And look back here, all these windows, these are rectangles. These have 2 long sides and 2 short sides. And I see some triangles up here on the crane. It's kind of hard to see those too. Ooh, what do you see on the chair? Round circles. So So it's a group of round circles on the chair. Ooh, I see stars. So stars are a shape. And on these bricks, there's rectangles on the bricks. And I see some squares too. Ooh, over here I see a big, large rectangle. It's a piece of wood that he's taking in there. And look, on the bricks you see some rectangles too. And the door is the shape of a rectangle. And over here on the building part, we have triangles. There's many triangles, many different sizes. Here's a little baby triangle up here. Remember, 3 sides. So you can have 1, 2, 3. That's a triangle. All kinds of things. Ooh, the lunch. Look, the sandwich is cut into triangle shapes. And the crackers are rectangles. I see star cookies. And circles for the egg part right here. And circle for the orange. And look, on the towel right here, there's squares. And look, we have barrettes over here. And circles for her hair barrettes. There's ovals and rectangles. And it looks like there might be hearts down here on her bracelet. Over here on this boat, we have circles on the boat. And I see rectangles. Let's see. And back here on the wall, there's some rectangles again. And over here, there's rectangles. All kinds of shapes. Over here, here's a rectangle. All kinds. Oh, look, the little boys are playing with instruments. Here's a circle, and then there's little tiny circles in the tambourine. And this is called a triangle. It's an instrument, and you tap it, and it makes a little pretty sound. And over here, we have all kinds of balls. And there's squares on the racket. So all kinds of shapes that you can see. And look, this is from our front cover. The triangles and the squares. And the squares on the boy's shoes and circle. And then we have these shoes. And I see triangles in them. So there's a triangle. There's a baby triangle. All kinds of triangles in the shoes. And then over here on her skirt, I see some rectangles. I see a ladder, and it's kind of in the shape of a triangle. Okay? So remember, the triangle has 3 sides. And I see the windows are rectangles. I see some rectangles. I see a rectangle right here. The toolbox is a rectangle. And this over here, it looks like a piece of fencing, plastic fencing. It's a square. It's squares made out of that fence. Oh, I see some triangles for the hangers. And there's triangles. Ooh, over here, I see squares on the laundry basket. There's different squares. And there's circles on the dryer. The squares of the floor, of the tiles on the floor. And then over here is a big giant circle, and there's a little circle in between, little circles, and that's a manhole cover. And there's a rectangle over here. So that's about shapes. And next week we're going to talk about sorting. We're going to sort different colors. So we're going to find different colored things and sort those. All right. Bye-bye.